What's going on, everyone? I hope you guys are having a good day. It is Joey here from the Commander's Lair. Today I'll be showing my 9 Fingers Keene deck. So this is 1 a blue, green, and a black, so it's Sultai. For a legendary creature human rogue 4/4 with menace and ward, pay 9 life. And whenever 9 Fingers Keene deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 9 cards of your library. You may put a gate card from among them onto the battlefield. Then if you control 9 or more gates, you put the rest into your hand. So basically that'll be draw 8 to 9. And their cards, and then otherwise put the rest on the bottom on your library in a random order. So basically, originally I was kind of, put off by this commander because I wanted to do that ward pay 9 life and target it with my own spells and have some interesting kind of copy deck losing life there. But basically, it has to be your opponent. Your opponent has to control 9 Fingers Keene, so I just didn't think that would work too well. And basically, I just kind of stopped drawing that. I also used to have a Golos deck. It was a lands deck back in the day. I changed it to a couple different commanders. But basically, 5 color you had to do to get Gates deck to work, to use the Maze Ends Win Con to have as many dates as you could. Basically, 9 Fingers Keene, now that they've reprinted it, there is 11 gates, and they're all in this deck, obviously, that fit into Sultai colors. So we're running every single one of those in this deck, and basically just playing lots, the regular gates like Dimir Guild Gate, the ones that you know, and then kind of different new ones that are also gates, not guild gates, they're just kind of the new gates, that kind of do some more interesting things, that have some more synergies, and then we're playing off lots, like, getting heaps of lands into play. I believe we have 42 lands in this deck, a ton of RAM to make sure we can get heaps of lands, and then just kind of play off the synergies of having heaps of lands and those kind of things in a regular, somewhat land deck. So I won't go over all of them, but their history, especially in the Ravnica sets, and I think Gatewatch as well, there's been heaps of kind of gate cards, gate synergies. Secured as Root is a great example. I also have this in some of my other decks. I think this is just quite a good card, especially for the high SCMC commander decks. So it's 3 and a green for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards and or gate cards. And put them onto the battlefield tabs and shuffle your library, so we can get 2 gates from our deck for 4 mana. Not too bad. Just, if we're setting them up, effects like these are really great because, if we get 3 or 4 of these, then we're, up to, let's say, 6, 8 gates, plus maybe we draw some. It's potential to get us up to that really high amount of lands, or gates, sorry. Crop rotation is a simple one, so it's a green for an instant, and you, when you play it, you sack a land, and then search your library for a land and put it into play, shuffle your library, so it's any land, so we will not be getting any powerful pieces, then all this is used for combos. Instead, we'll just be getting some of those gates. Just make sure we can get them, just swap out a basic for a gate, make sure we can fix our mana, and also get those gates as well, which is really nice, kind of ramping through that. And then Course of the Crewfix is a basic one, so it's 1 good greed for a 2/4, enchantment creature centaur, play with the top card of your library revealed. You'll play the top card if it's a land, and then whenever land ETBs on your control, you gain a life. So this is one of those generic, good in any deck, realistically, but even better in any land deck. And what it's going to do is it's going to, gain us heaps of life as we're playing all these lands, getting them all out. You're also going to let us play them off the top of our library if somehow we don't have any in our hand as well. Just, keep the deck going and keep us ramping a lot. Luckily, as the deck, what we're doing in this deck is making lands. It also has lots of synergies for drawing cards, so that's obviously the best 2 things of Magic: getting mana and drawing cards. Really great way to win a game through that. So cards like Horn of Greed sets this up for us. It's 3 generic for an artifact. Whenever any player plays a land, that player draws a card, so it's going to help our opponent as well. Might, even give us a bit of favor because, someone's going to attack someone, like, oh no, I drew you 2 cards last turn, and they're like, oh, fair enough, they attack someone else. Otherwise, we'll be getting the most value out of this anyway, so basically, we'll, hopefully we're putting 3-ish lands a turn, which would be, really nice 3 draw. And then Guild Summon's great as well. It's 2 and a blue for an enchantment. When it ETBs, you may tap it, for untapped gates you control, draw a card for each gate. So basically, this obviously is going to, it's somewhat working a bit like an X spell there. But it is, some nice synergy. If we have 3 or 4 gates out, we can tap them, draw 3 or 4 cards for 3 mana is not bad. Plus tapping them, it's not an amazing great, but then also has whatever gate ETBs, you draw a card. So obviously there are only 11 gates. This isn't the best. It's a bit of a gimmicky card that's not really, get to work. But sometimes it can be nice, it can be definitely a bit of a powerhouse and draws heaps of cards in the right scenarios. Onto the synergy pieces. Darkellis is great, so he's 1 and Sultai for a 2/4 Turtle Shaman. As long as he's tapped, other opponents ETB tapped, and as long as he's untapped, other opponents ETB untapped. So basically we're going to keep him there, we're going to sit not using him whatsoever, keeping him untapped. And just making sure all of our gates enter tapped, because when you're relying on a mana base that is entirely entering tapped, because gates, that's what they do, they enter tapped, we are going to be pretty badly set off by that, really losing lots of mana. So this is going to keep that mana open and keep just getting fast mana. Thought Vessel is also great. It's technically a ramp card, so it's 2 generic and taps for 2, and then you have no maximum hand size. So once we get 9 Fingers Keene on board and keep going off with her ability, we are going to be drawing heaps. Not having to discard them is going to be a really nice effect for that. And then other for the Darkellis, we're going to having heaps of, kind of synergies off the land. So 5 green green is Adventure of Zendikar. It's a 5/5 elemental. When it ETBs, you put a 0/1 plant for each token on the battlefield for each land you control. So with the 42 lands and the heaps of ramp we're playing, hopefully that'll be, 10, 15-ish. And that has Landfall. Whenever land ETBs on you control, you may put a 1/1 counter on each plant you control. So let's say we played this as soon as we could. We had 7 lands on the battlefield. This is a 5/5. It creates the 0/1s. And then we play our next land drop, so then they become 1/2s. And then the next turn, let's say we play another land, and then we play Circuitous Route. So, they've all gotten 4 counters. We're going to have big 4/5s, massive, beaters going, heaps of them, and really easily close out the game through that. Glaive with the Guild Pact is more synergizing with the gates and the lands, because that's what we're doing in this deck. We're having a mix of Landfall and a mix of kind of Guild gates, so just, using both the abilities in tandem to get as much value as we can out of all these Landfall cards. So it's 2 generic for an artifact equipment, and equipped creature gets +1/+0 and for each gate you control, and has vigilance and menace. So it's going to turn something into a big hitter and it has equip 3. Pumping something up for all the lands and gates we have. And then Maze's End is obviously the iconic gate card. This is why gate decks were created. It's obviously really, really powerful. So it enters tapped, and then it has tap and add 1 mana to your mana pool. Also important to note, this isn't a gate. But basically it has 3 in tap, and then return it to its owner's hand, search your library for a gate card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So, it can get us that last gate. And then it has, if you control 10 or more gates with different names, you win the game. So basically, what this is going to do is, if we have 9 gates, we win the game. That's just, really useful. This is how we're going to win. The rest of the deck is, some of the win cons are a bit questionable. It's cards like Adventure of Zendikar, Rampaging Bailiff going off the Landfall synergies. And then this is the gate side of the deck, winning the game through that, controlling 10 gates and just winning the game instantly through that. So the next important thing is the fact that Nine Eyes Keene has to connect for damage to get her ability to trigger. So basically we're going to, play things to give it unblockable, play with the fact that as Menace make, it be blocked by more than 1 creature, and just stuff like that to just make that we can get through for damage. Might want to add a bit more than I have in this deck to that, but basically I just figured I'll, focus on the lands more. This will be like a nice bonus if we can possibly get there as well, to draw through our deck and just churn through the amount of cards we have, pumping out as much as we can. While making sure our commander doesn't die and can hit through for damage. Thank you guys so much for watching. That'll do it for this video. I hope you guys liked the deck. Obviously, I mentioned I was a bit skeptical when this first released because I wasn't sure how the whole thing would feel, and what I thought of the deck, because I was used to 5 color gates. And then obviously, I had a bit of sour taste because of that water ability, but basically it is a really interesting deck. I hope you guys like it. If you do, let me know what you did with this deck, if you did something different, if you tried to change it up a bit, because obviously I have gone the, pretty straightforward route with this. Otherwise, let me know if there's another, commander from Baldur's Gate you want to see me brew, or maybe just in general there's a different commander, or, even also, I mentioned this a lot, about, I'll build a deck for you guys, but also if you want to set a price limit, because, say you're building on a budget and you wanted to build a certain deck for only, $20, let me know and I could do that as well. $20 might be a bit low, but you can try. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, to these Baldur's Gate decks. And then just comment, your thoughts, what you want to see next. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time.